this crime, Reverend Sheffield, what was also disturbing was that Reverend Winans said nobody came to help him. When he was on the ground getting punched and kicked, nobody came to help him. What does that say about us?
Well, first of all, let me say this. One of the problems we have is we have too much talk. We have people who actually relish describing an analysis of the situation, but tomorrow you never find them lifting a finger to do anything about it. I'm tired of all the talk. Secondly, people are fearful. I mean, if they will beat Marvin Winans down in broad daylight, people don't know if they're armed or whatever, they're afraid for their own personal safety. You know, I want to say that there are a lot of decent business people who own these gas stations, but I think they still have a responsibility for our safety. I've been in many times, for example, gas stations. I try to patronize in Detroit, but it's difficult. When you have to get out of your car, go inside because they won't take your credit card or you can't get a receipt, you're almost coerced to go inside. And they allow people to congregate. Now, they're safe behind a bulletproof glass, but the rest of us are subjected to whatever goes on, you know, on the inside of this store. So they have to work with the police department or whomever, private financing, to make certain that these places are more safe and more secure.
Well, Charlie, we also understand.
And one other point I'll make too, the most important point. And I know Pastor Winans, love him to death, but the reality is most of us who spend time in Detroit would have more sense than to go on Linwood and Davidson with a $90,000 watch. I mean, you ought to be able to go where you want to go, but the reality is that you can't go wherever you want to go.
But it shouldn't matter what he was wearing. We should all have the right to wear what we want to wear. Shouldn't that be true? You wouldn't be a brick of cheese and walk in a room of rats. I mean, let's be for real.
I don't buy that, Reverend Sheffield.
Well, you don't have to buy it.
If Pastor Marvin Winans had a different profession, if he was a drug dealer, if he was a gangster, he could wear his watch, he could have his rims on his car, and they would not touch him in that neighborhood.
That's an absolute.
Pastor Marvin Winans should be able to wear. Pastor Marvin Winans should be able to wear whatever he wants to wear. We should not live in fear. And how can we tell people to take back the night, to take back their communities? Yeah. And at the same time say that if we had a certain kind of street wisdom, we wouldn't go there.
Okay, listen.
We cannot give over to this rising tide of violence. We must fight back.
And does that blame the victim? Are you blaming the victim?
I don't give out anything. I have a school with 400 kids from every gang on the west side, the Red Rings or whatever. My school is walking distance from where this happened. And if a drug dealer came in there with 20s or whatever, he better be strapped and he better have some backup because they don't give a damn who you are. Now, that's the reality, and that's where we live. Now, until we do all the stuff that you're talking about, and we can feel safe, and people know that there's going to be certain punishment, and there are going to be communities of people that got their back. The reality is you just can't go anywhere at any time, you know, with bling bling and all that and expect to be safe.